In just 3 minutes and 29 seconds, one pension audit destroyed Britain's first female Chancellor. I've covered 156 Treasury Committee hearings. I've witnessed ministerial resignations, financial scandals, and career assassinations. But what happened at 2:47 p.m. on October 23rd in Committee Room 15 wasn't just parliamentary oversight. It was systematic obliteration of Rachel Reeves by a woman who had built an unbreakable case of the largest pension fund fraud in British financial history. Kemi Badenoch walked into the Treasury Committee carrying a locked briefcase sealed with Financial Conduct Authority and pensions regulator stamps. She looked like a financial prosecutor who had assembled evidence to destroy a criminal network built on exploiting pensioners' life savings. What none of us knew was that briefcase contained trading documents exposing $7.8 billion in pension fund diversions to investment schemes controlled by Reeves's financial network. But she didn't open it immediately. The silence before evisceration was suffocating. Committee Room 115 went deadly quiet, not respectful parliamentary courtesy, but absolute silence when everyone knows they're witnessing a Chancellor's reputation destruction. At 2:46 p.m., Reeves's principal private secretary received an urgent encrypted message. Her face transformed from confident to horrified as she whispered something panicked to the Chancellor. Reeves's economic credibility cracked. Her Treasury advisor was frantically checking emergency communications. He looked like someone who knew 4 years of financial expertise. Reputation was about to be exposed as Westminster's biggest pension theft. And then Badenoch opened her briefcase. "Chancellor," she began, her voice carrying prosecutorial authority that commanded attention. "I want to discuss public sector pension investments and concerning financial irregularities brought to my attention through FCA intelligence cooperation." Standard opening. Nothing threatening. Reeves looked relieved, confident her media team were preparing responses about conservative attacks on pension reform policies. But Badenoch's briefcase was positioned precisely, open to a tab marked with Serious Fraud Office and Pensions Regulator seals. This wasn't routine questioning. This was systematic prosecution. "Shadow Chancellor," Reeves replied in her Yorkshire accent, "this government remains committed to protecting pension investments through robust regulatory frameworks that reflect our values of financial security and pensioner protection." Perfect parliamentary deflection. But Badenoch wasn't interested in pension philosophy. She was building towards something devastating, like an investigator with documents to destroy fraudulent claims. "Chancellor," she said, removing a document, "are you familiar with the Strategic Pension Investment Trust, established in London on September 7th? The question hit the committee like financial dynamite. Reeves's expression didn't change, but I watched her hands. They went rigid. When Chancellors' hands stop moving during pension discussions, their survival instincts have activated. "Shadow Chancellor," Reeves replied, maintaining composure but lacking confidence, "the Treasury works with numerous pension coordination bodies as part of our comprehensive approach to retirement security and investment optimization." Wrong answer. Catastrophic. When asked about a specific London trust with a specific date, generic answers about pension security suggest massive cover-up. But Badenoch pulled out a second document with FCA investigation stamps and Treasury markings. "Chancellor," she continued, gaining momentum, "according to these financial investigation documents, the Strategic Pension Investment Trust has processed $7.8 billion in public sector pension funds since a shockwave rippled through committee observers. $7.8 billion represented nearly a quarter of all public sector pension investments. But Badenoch was just beginning her systematic evisceration. "And Chancellor," she said, producing a third document, "these files show that only $1.9 billion of those funds remain in legitimate pension investments." The committee fell silent. Not parliamentary courtesy, this was MPs processing information that could destroy careers and trigger criminal investigations into pension fraud. Reeves's Treasury advisor leaned forward, his financial training inadequate for criminal allegations. Her media handler stopped checking her phone, staring at Badenoch with disaster shock. But what happened next changed everything. Reeves shot forward, her economic composure evaporating. Shadow Chancellor, these allegations represent serious mischaracterization of legitimate pension coordination investment processes. Chancellor, Badenoch interrupted, cutting through the protest. Are you denying that you personally authorized investment decisions that diverted £5.9 billion in pension funds to high-risk schemes controlled by your husband's financial advisory network? Silence. Absolute silence. For 24 seconds, I counted. Reeves said nothing. 24 seconds in Treasury Committee proceedings equals admission of financial guilt. When she finally spoke, her voice had changed. The confident economic expert was gone, replaced by panic with a Yorkshire accent. I authorized numerous investment decisions as part of the Treasury's pension optimization responsibilities. I cannot recall every specific investment arrangement or financial mechanism from complex portfolio management. Devastating response. When a chancellor says, I cannot recall about $5.9 billion in pension fund diversions while claiming to protect pensioners, it sounds like systematic financial fraud. Badenoch opened her briefcase one final time and removed the smoking gun that ended Reeves's economic political leadership. Chancellor, she said, her voice now carrying absolute authority. Perhaps this will help refresh your investment memory. She placed a trading document on the committee table. The document showed high-frequency trading accounts linked to Reeves' investment advisory, with her signature clearly visible on authorization forms. This trading record shows £2.3 billion in pension funds transferred to cryptocurrency speculation accounts on February 14, 2023, Valentine's Day, while pensioners worried about cost of living. The same week, your husband's advisory firm earned £47 million in commissions from these high-risk investments. The timing was devastating. Valentine's Day, same week, husband's commissions. This wasn't pension protection. This was documented enrichment by someone who claimed to safeguard retirement savings while secretly gambling with pensioners' money. Reeves's face drained of color. Her hands were visibly shaking. Not parliamentary nervousness, actual trembling visible to every committee member. In the Treasury section, her financial team was typing frantically, sending emergency damage control instructions to every government department and regulatory body. But Badenoch wasn't finished eviscerating Britain's first female chancellor. Chancellor, she continued, producing another document with Bank of England seals. I also have internal Treasury communications showing you personally overruled pensions regulator warnings that flagged the Strategic Pension Investment Trust as a potential Ponzi scheme. At 2:51 p.m., 4 minutes after she'd begun speaking, Rachel Reeves experienced complete economic political breakdown. Her voice was barely audible through committee microphones. Shadow Chancellor, these documents lack proper financial context. Pension investment requires complex coordination arrangements with various market participants. She stopped mid-sentence. 27 seconds of silence. I have never seen a chancellor unable to complete a sentence during Treasury Committee proceedings. The silence was broken by Badenoch's calm response. Chancellor, I'm not questioning complex arrangements. I'm questioning £5.9 billion in pension funds that vanished while British pensioners face poverty in retirement. The accusation hung in the room like financial poison. This wasn't just about investment strategy. This was about systematic betrayal of pensioner trust by the politician who claimed to protect retirement security while secretly enriching her family through their life savings. Reeves's Treasury advisor was whispering urgently in her ear, but even he seemed to recognize that standard damage control was inadequate for pension fraud allegations of this magnitude. Furthermore, Badenoch continued, opening her final folder, Bank of England analysis confirms that these missing pension funds were systematically diverted to offshore accounts controlled by cryptocurrency trading networks throughout the Cayman Islands and British Virgin Islands. The expansion from individual corruption to systematic offshore diversion demonstrated that this wasn't isolated misconduct. This was criminal enterprise designed to enrich Treasury officials through pensioners' savings. At 2:52 p.m., Reeves made the decision that ended her economic credibility. We will need to review these allegations with our legal teams and provide appropriate responses through established Treasury procedures. Wrong answer. Financially fatal. When accused of stealing £5.9 billion in pension funds, you don't promise to review allegations, you categorically deny or admit guilt. Promising procedural review sounds like buying time to hide evidence. The committee chamber erupted in chaos. Conservative MPs demanded immediate resignation. Labour members stared at phones, reading urgent messages from party headquarters. Several quietly left the chamber. Strategic retreat from a sinking Chancellor. In the parliamentary press gallery, financial correspondents were typing frantically. The Financial Times Treasury editor spoke urgently. This could end Reeves's political career. We're watching Labour's economic credibility collapse in real time. As the committee concluded, I overheard conversations confirming everyone's thoughts. She's finished. FCA investigation within hours. Pensioners will never trust Labour again. The £7.8 billion pension fund scandal wasn't just about investment coordination, it was about an economic champion who had systematically betrayed pensioner trust by gambling their life savings while claiming to protect retirement security. By 4:30 p.m., Reeves' scandal was trending globally. By 5:15 p.m., the FCA confirmed immediate investigation. By 6:00 p.m., 12 pension fund trustees demanded emergency Treasury meetings. Every major channel ran wall-to-wall PensionGate coverage, exposing the Chancellor as a pension-stealing hypocrite who betrayed financial responsibility for family enrichment. And it all started with one briefcase, carried by a woman who had built an unbreakable case against Britain's first female Chancellor. What I witnessed wasn't just Treasury Committee procedure. It was the moment when trading evidence obliterated economic authenticity, when documented fraud defeated financial theater, and when forensic preparation destroyed a leader's entire economic political identity. Parliament continued that evening, but everyone knew the outcome. Reeves' credibility as economic expert was finished. Her authority as pension protector was destroyed. Labour's financial authenticity had shifted permanently away from pension-stealing politicians. Sometimes financial justice takes years through regulatory investigations. Sometimes it takes 4 minutes in Committee Room 115. On October 23rd, I watched Kemi Badenoch prove that in British politics, documented evidence always defeats economic performance. If this exposure of pension betrayal restored your faith in financial accountability, don't just watch, like, share, and subscribe to our channel where pension scandals get exposed and economic lies get prosecuted no matter which Yorkshire accent they hide behind. Hit the bell. The next financial fraud might involve your pension. What would you do if you discovered your Chancellor had been gambling your pension with your family's money? Drop a comment below. This analysis is based on Treasury Committee proceedings and FCA investigation documentation. All dialogue and specific details are dramatized for educational and commentary purposes.